Is this how to cook stew?
Chai, did you see that? Please watch carefully. Marriage is not always easy, but it can be very good if you approach it with an easy heart. Oh my God, now watch what his second wife did to him. And this is really a no nonsense woman. You are not going to believe it.
Do you know how to cook? You better not complain or else.
Now, let me tell you how it started. Please subscribe, sit and watch to the end, and don't forget to comment. Ooh.
Her name was Kate, and she had lived in a village nest between green hills where everyone knew everyone else's business. She was a kind of woman men noticed, not just because she was beautiful with her smooth dark skin and bright eyes, but because she had carried herself with quiet confidence. Her father was a respected farmer, her mother a healer, and Kate grew up believing the world was beautiful as she was. When Desmond came to the village, everything changed. He arrived from the city with money in his pocket and stories of success. He was powerfully built, with broad shoulders and strong arms that made him stand out. Women whispered about him, men wanted to be like him, and Kate, at 23 years old, fell completely under his spell. He pursued her with intensity. He brought her gifts. He told her she was the most beautiful woman he had ever seen. He said he had never felt this way about anyone before. Within months, he asked her to marry him, and she said yes without hesitation, without even finding out his kind of temperament. Her parents were pleased. The village celebrated. Everyone thought it was a perfect match. The first month of marriage was not what she expected. Small things began to happen. Desmond would come home and complain about the food she had prepared, saying it was too salty or not cooked properly. When she apologized and tried harder the next day, he would find something else wrong. He didn't like the way she had arranged the house. He didn't like how she spoke to the neighbor. He didn't like that she smiled too much. His words were sharp, cutting into her confidence and making her feel worried day after day. Kate told herself this was just normal, that this could just be marriage and requires adjustment. She thought she loved him, and so she would do anything to make it all happen better. She would make him happy, she said to herself. But things got worse. One evening, Desmond came home hungry and angry. Kate had prepared a stew with vegetable and meat, something she had made 100 times before, something she had learned from childhood. He tasted it, spat it back into the bowl, and said it was disgusting. When she tried to explain that she had followed the recipe carefully, he stood up from the table. His hand moved so fast that she didn't even see it coming. The blow landed on her shoulder, and she fell backward onto the floor. He shouted at her and called her several names, that he had made a mistake marrying her, that she couldn't do anything. Then he stormed out, leaving her sitting on the ground, shocked and aching. She told herself it wouldn't happen again. It was just one moment, probably because he was stressed. He didn't mean it. She used all of it just to console herself. But it did happen again and again. Sometimes it was about food. Sometimes it was about money he said she had wasted. Sometimes it was because she had spoke to a neighbor he didn't approve of. Sometimes there was no reason at all. He had simply come home in a foul mood and decided what he wants to become his problem. Each time he finds something to blame her for, sometimes to justify what he was about to do. The beating became part of her life. She learned to run at the sound of his footsteps. She learned to keep her voice small and apologetic. She learned to make herself smaller, quieter, less noticeable. She wore long sleeves and wrapped her clothes round about her arms to hide her bruises. When neighbors asked about the mark on her face, she would say to them that she had either fallen or had gotten injured from the pot she had used earlier. Her mother came to visit her one day and saw the fears in Kate's eyes. She asked what was wrong, but Kate couldn't tell her. Shame wrapped around her like chains. She felt like she had failed in her marriage, like maybe she deserved what was happening to her. A few months after, the mother left, and then one particular brutal night, Desmond came home drunk. His friend had been drinking with him, and he had lost money in a bet. When he walked through the door, his anger was like a living lion. Kate was sitting quietly mending the clothes. He accused her of making him lose, of being a curse on his life, of ruining everything he had worked hard for. Before she could say anything, he grabbed her by the hair and threw her against the wall. She hit her head hard, and for a moment everything went blank. When her vision cleared, he was standing over her. Face looked frowned, and she thought he wanted to kill her. The next morning, bruised and barely able to move, Kate made a decision. She couldn't do this anymore. Survival meant living for good, she said to herself. She waited until Desmond left the house as his usual way. Her body screamed in pain as she gathered a few things, her clothes, a small money she had gathered a few months. And then she left. She spent hours on her way, and when she arrived in her mother's compound, her mother took one look at her and wept. She didn't ask questions. She simply drew Kate into her arms and held her while she cried. For weeks, Kate barely left the house. Her mother cared for her, applied healing herbs to her injuries, and spoke softly about strength and resilience. Slowly, the physical bruises faded. The emotional ones took longer, but with time, something remarkable happened. Kate began to believe in herself. She found work helping in the village market, selling vegetables and clothes. She made friends. She laughed again and felt happy again. But then, few months after Kate left Desmond, he got married to a woman named Kamsi, a woman who had zero tolerance.
Do you know how to
She
cook?
would be the one to slap
You
him
better
first
not
when he
complain,
complained that
or
her food is
else.
not delicious. She would tell him when to go out and who to meet. She controlled everything that had to do with the marriage, and with time, his strength began to deteriorate. Then one day, a messenger arrived from Desmond's village. Desmond was dying, the messenger said. A sickness had taken hold of him. His new wife, a strong woman he married after you left, had grown tired of his abuse and had left him. Now he lay alone, burning with fever, calling for someone to help him. Kate felt something shifted inside her chest after the messenger left. Part of her wanted to refuse, to let him face the consequences of his actions alone, but another part of her, the part that had grown and had healed, felt a strange pull towards compassion. She decided to go, and when she arrived at his house, she barely recognized him. He wasted away, his powerful frame, now thin and fragile, his eyes, once so cold and commanding, were filled with pain and fear. When he saw her, tears ran down his face. She nursed him with careful hand. Out of deep human compassion, she gave him all she could do. She gave him everything. She applied herbs to his injuries, or drugs when needed. She spoke to him gently, not with anger, but with a kind of peaceful understanding. He tried to speak, but then she never worried about what he had to say. Some things didn't need words, she said. 3 days later, he died. Amara sat alone, feeling lonely. She felt quite sadness for a man he might have been, and gratitude that she had survived him. After the funeral, Kate returned to her village, and there her life truly began again. She met a man named Kenneth, a craftsman who built beautiful furniture for homes. He was kind in a way that seemed almost suspicious to her at first. She learned to be careful, but Kenneth was patient. He never rushed her. He showed her, through countless small actions, gentleness and strength could exist in the same person. When he asked her to marry him, she said
Will you
yes,
marry
but
me?
this time with
It
her
would mean the
eyes
world to
open,
me if you
with
would agree to
wisdom
spend the
and
rest
true
of your
pain.
life by my
He
side
asked of his
and start this journey
temperament,
together.
and a few months after, they got married. They had children together, 2 sons and a daughter. Amma raised them to understand respect, to value kindness, to never accept mistreatment from anyone. and never to mistreat anyone. Her daughter grew up watching her mother's strength and learned that a woman could be soft and powerful at the same time.
Thank you so much for watching and for subscribing to Ohm's Tales. We truly appreciate your support and hope you will join us for our next adventure.